Hello everyone and welcome to our Applied Genomic in Animal Breeding podcast. Today we are very excited to talk about the Barbados Blackbelly sheep. Here we are speaking with our invited special guest, Encik Syahmi Hakimi bin Maslisha, the Head of Administration and Research at the Pusat Penyelidikan Bioteknologi Blackbelly UM, which specialise in this breed for research purpose. Thank you for joining us, Encik Syahmi.
It is my pleasure to discuss our work here in Jelebu, Negeri Sembilan from UM lah.
It's inspiring that UM has been running a research farm for this unique breed for so long. Just for some background, how long have you personally been working there?
Well, the center itself has been opening and operating for over 10 years. And also I have been heavily involved in the breeding and also research program for the last few years, and we are mostly focusing on the Blackbelly flock.
That's a very extensive experience. Now let's understand a bit about this sheep. Based on what I've heard, this Blackbelly is famous and important for tropical sheep production primarily because of them being a hair sheep. Can you elaborate on what that means and why it makes them so famous in the climate like ours?
So that is their defining features. When people think of a sheep, they usually picture that thick, heavy wool kind of sheep, mostly in the movies lah. But then ours are hair shape, however, naturally sheds its hair coats. And also this is an evolutionary adaptation that developed over the centuries, specifically in the Caribbean region, which is also a tropical region like us, Malaysia.
Wow, that sounds like they are easy to manage because they don't need any shearing, right? But on the deeper level, how does the hair phenotype directly benefits your farm operation, especially in Malaysia, intense heat and humidity?
That's a very, very important question because it is fundamentally comes down to the physiology. In our climate, heat stress and also a few other important details is the enemy of the production. And also since they don't have that insulating layer of wool, they can dissipate the heat more better compared to the typical sheep. And also to put it simply, a wool sheep will spend too much energy trying to cool down, and also this can take energy away from the reproduction growth. However, the Blackbelly, on the other hand, with their hair, they can naturally be comfortable in our region. And also that is kind of way that I can say is their superpower, because typically in Southeast Asia lah, and also because of their tropical adaptation, combined with their natural resistance to certain common diseases that are mostly found in other type of wool sheep, they can actually be better, and also it is much better ruminants for us here in Malaysia. And also if we brought the thick wool sheep here, their productivity would plummet in this kind of climate.
Oh, okay, I see. So let's moving on to the performance. So we know that one of your main goal in this breeding is to improve the prolificacy and also maintain the disease resistance. So I've also read that the Barbados Blackbelly also has a high reproductive rate. So can you confirm to us that what is the average number of the offspring produced by an ewe annually at the Glamlemy?
So based on our records, our ewes average about 3 offspring annually. And this is because the Blackbelly has a shorter lambing interval, which means that they can breed faster than many other different breeds.
Wow, that is exceptionally high. It seems like you must have a very targeted breeding strategy. So what traits are you focusing on maintaining the high yield?
We select based on a few main factors. First of all, we look at the designated standard of the phenotypic traits, which is the classical Blackbelly look. And the next one, I think we review on the mother's history of pregnancy and also the overall pedigree, where we want to ensure that the ewe is fertile and also can consistently raise healthy offspring. And that is very important also. So that the goal is not just to produce lamb, but to achieve also a low lamb mortality rate that can also be a very, very big advantage for us.
Oh, that makes sense. However, the environmental factors in Malaysia must impact even such a resilient tropical breed, right? So I'm concerned about the environment. How does our intense tropical climate affect your breeding targets here in general?
Okay, so honestly, that is actually one of our biggest hurdle and also challenge. Climate-induced heat stress is a serious and also a complex kind of problem. It is significantly impacting the sperm quality of the rams. This can result in a more low conception rate and also stresses for the ewes, especially during their pregnancy. But then it goes beyond that also. During a severe heat wave, even our feed, which is the Napier grass, exhibit a slow growth and also reduce quantity and also quality, which then compound the nutritional stress on the flock. This can also result in the we having a constantly need to monitor and also manage these two kind of pressure.
Okay, so you are fighting both the direct physiological effect on the heat and also fertility, and the indirect effect on the nutrition. I see now how this makes efficient breeding and also genetic selection even more critical. Additionally, we noticed that in your farm profile that you maintain a small focus flock between 50 to 100 sheep. So could you share with us what genetic records do you keep and why is that level of detail necessary for the longevity of your program?
Okay, so because we are actually mainly a research center, we must extremely be careful to protect our genetic stock. So because of this, we meticulously maintain detailed records of the three main areas, which is the parentage, the performance, and also the inbreeding coefficient records.
Inbreeding coefficient. That sounds very technical. So what is calculating that specific number is so important for managing a small flocks like yours?
So the main goal is actually quite simple, but the process is very critical and important. If we don't calculate the inbreeding coefficient before every single breeding event, we actually put them in risk with inbreeding depression. So inbreeding depression is like the lamb will lose their hardiness, meaning that they will become less resistant to diseases. And worst case scenario, their famous breeding capability will decline, and our strategy to calculate the inbreeding coefficient and separate the males and also females and plan the breeding schedule months prior. And also we do all this to protect the blackbelly's genetic diversity.
So that level of manual record keeping is intensive. So you know exactly who the parents are for each sheep. Yeah, in the world of applied genomics, we talk a lot about the tools that can automate and also perfect this process. So, have you considered implementing specific genomic tools in your breeding programs? And perhaps something like DNA markers?
Yes, we have considered it, and we definitely see the value. We know that the technologies like microsatellite markers could give us the perfect kind of record of parentage and also diversity that no paper record itself can be. However, we face a major limitation.
And what is the primary hurdle that prevents you from fully utilizing these genetic tools?
So the biggest hurdle, unfortunately, is still the cost. While we see the scientific benefit of genetic testing of every single animal in our flock, the cost of implementing all of this can be quite big, and also the analysis is still a challenge for our budget right now.
Okay, I understand the budget constraints, but if we look at the cost, using that genomic data like through validated microsatellite markers, wouldn't it allow you to confirm the exact pedigree? So to ensure the lowest inbreeding coefficient for every mating, and potentially even select for genes related to better heat tolerance. This would help combat the low conception rate you described earlier.
Exactly. That is our ultimate goal. Moving forward, we believe that the genomic tools are the solution to precision for kind of breeding. They will move us from relying solely on our detailed paper records to a system that genetically validates our choices. This will secure the future of the Barbados Blackbelly and also helping us to achieve our breeding goals of high breeding and also superior tropical resilience.
Encik Syahmi, this has been incredibly insightful. We have talked about the high cost and the immense environmental pressure that you face. So looking to the future, what are the next steps for improving your breeding operation at the Glamilemi? And are there any specific area that you would like to collaborate with research institutions or other universities?
That's a great way to end. So our future plans are focused on strengthening our foundation. First, we will be taking on the responsibility to vaccinate our own ram and also to ensure a proactive disease management. And second, we need to bring in a new rams for breeding to replace our older stock because purchasing outside animals is the most direct way to introduce a new genetic material, and also this to help refresh the gene pool inside our farm and also to maintain the low inbreeding coefficient in between our flock. And also we always welcome collaboration, especially on cost-effective genomic research that could help us achieve a precision in breeding.
So it is clear that Glamlemi is doing the fantastic work to maintain and improve this resilient breed and balance the hands-on management, right? So Encik Syahmi, thank you so much for sharing your expertise on these practical challenges and the genetic potential of the Barbados Blackbelly sheep. This has been a very fascinating look at the applied genomics on the farm.
Thank you, Halina, and also Alia. I appreciate the opportunity to share my work with you guys. Thank you.
And thank you to our listener for tuning in. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating topic in applied genomics. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.